Hey everybody, welcome to linuxin.com. In this video we are going to talk about the Linux commands basics. So we are going to be covering all the basics that you need to know. If you're a beginner, do not worry, because at the end of this video you're going to be familiar with all the basic commands in Linux. Alright, so people usually consider difficult that the Linux commands are like some sort of difficult thing to learn, but it is not that difficult. People consider it as a code or something like that, but it is not difficult. I promise you, once you watch this video you will figure it out and you will find it easy. Okay, at the end of this video you would want to write all those commands in terminal. Once you get used to it, you would never want to use anything else other than terminal. You would do everything in the terminal, and after that obviously this will make you familiar with the computer and you would love it. Okay, so in order to go to the terminal in Linux Ubuntu 18.04 LTS, what you need to do, that you will right click and you can go from here open terminal, or you can press on your keyboard Control Alt T and you can open up your terminal right here. Okay, so the first command that I want to show you is uname. Okay, so if you write here uname, you would get this Linux. So obviously our system is Linux, so it has given you this sort of thing. Alright, so now the next thing, what if you want to check the release? So that's how you basically check the release, uname -r. What if you want to check everything about your system? How do you do that? You write here uname space -a or -a. You press enter. Now right here everything related to your system, all the details are here. Okay, so now if you want to do like something like this, you want to check the version, this thing is right here. So notice here that we have like our Ubuntu version, but this detail is present right here as well. And if you see that uname -r, this 4.15.0 -45 generic, it's also available right here. And if you go here uname Linux, this Linux sort of name available, it is available right here as well. Okay, so now we press a command, we write a command here, clear. We hit enter, we press enter, and you can see the screen is clear. So what this clear command does, that it does not entirely remove all the commands, but what it does, that it clears the current screen for you. Okay, but if you like scroll, these all the commands are saved right here in the current session of the terminal. But if you remove this, all those commands will be gone. Okay, so right now if you ls right here, so you would see some sort of folders like this. So right now we are in our home folder. So the idea is that I am in the home folder as a separate user. Okay, I'm not a root user right now. So you can see that this is the folder that is for this username. This is my username. All right, so the address where I am right now, it's something like this, /home/my username. Okay, all right, so the idea is that you can take a look at it, all the files are same, right? So now what you've got to do is that if you write here cd double dots, now what it's gonna happen, that you are going to go one level back. So right now if I am like in this directory, home/my username, what is gonna happen, that I'm gonna go back to my home directory, right? So if I do that, if I hit enter, you can see that now I am in my home directory. If I ls right here, you can see there are some some folders right here, all the users that I have created. So right now I'm in my root directory and I'm in my home folder, where these are all the user, Bob, Bobby, John, and this is like my username which I'm currently using. Okay, so what if I go like this, cd/double dots again, now I am in my root directory. So you can see right here that here we have a sign like this, a dollar and this sign, but here we have this dollar and a slash sign. So it means $/sign, it means that you are in the root folder or the root directory right now. Okay, so you can verify it. You can go right here in the other locations, you can go to your computer and you can see right here, this is your root directory, this is our root directory. If I ls right now here, we can match all the folders. Bin, we have bin, we have boot, we have boot right here, we have CD-ROM, we have CD-ROM right here, we have dev right here, and so on and so forth. All right. So now what we're gonna do, if you want to go back to the folder where we already were, so I would write here something like that, and now you can see that the sign has become the same, and now I am in my own folder, which is my username. All right, if I ls again, you can see that I have all the files and folders from my own home folder. Okay, so right here. Okay, so I hope you have got the point. So this was the basic function of ls command, and this is how you basically move ahead and move down the level of the Linux file directory or something like that. All right, so this is how you're gonna move. So again, I'm gonna clear it. So the next command that I'm gonna share with you is basically, let's say, copy command, cp. So what if I want to, before using the copy command, what if I want to access a specific folder like this desktop here? So what I'm gonna do, that either I could write here cd/home/my username and then /desktop, right, like this, or what I could do, that I could write here cd / and then I could write here desktop. If I hit enter, you can see that now I'm in desktop. If I ls here, you can see that I have nothing on my desktop right now, right? So what I could do, I could create a file using a touch command. Basically, touch command is used to create a file. So if I write here touch test, so you can see that I have created a test file right here, but this is not a text file because of the extension. Okay, so if I want to create a text file, so what I would do, touch test.text. If I hit enter, you can see that this is a text file, and certainly I could write inside of it. All right, so what I can do now, let me close it. Okay, so let me delete this one. In fact, I'm not gonna delete it from right here. What I can do, that I can remove it from here by writing rm, and then I'm gonna write here test. So if I hit enter, you can see that the test file has been removed. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, that this is the text file I have created. I'm gonna make a copy of it in, let's say, some other directory. So this is cp text.text. So let's say I want to move it to some directory, let's say to my documents. Okay, so here I already have these 3 files, so I'm gonna delete them. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna write here the path to my document folder, which is /home/my username, and then obviously /documents. If I hit enter, it has executed successfully because it didn't have any error, and you can see right here I have a test.text file here as well. So if you want to create a folder, how would you do that? You would write here mkdir, and then you can write here new folder, and obviously you could see that we have created a new folder here as well. So let's try to copy this here. Let me copy it here. Right here you can see that the file is here. So let's try to remove this folder now. So basically what I'm gonna do, that I'm gonna remove the directory rmdir, and I'm gonna write here new folder, and you can see that it is giving me some sort of error. So I'll show you in a while that why it is giving an error. So let me move out this file right now. So if I move this file out, and if I write here rmdir, and then I type here new folder, so now you can see the folder is gone because the folder was empty. Okay, so if there is a file in the folder, so I'm gonna show you that how can you delete that folder as well. So let me write here mkdir, let me clear it first, mkdir new folder. So I've created a folder again, so I move this file inside of it. So we have seen that we could not delete that folder with a file inside. So how do we do that? We can write here remove rm or rmdir. So we write here -r, which is basically recursive. It means that also delete the files inside of the folder as well, and we write here the folder name. So if we now hit enter, it's giving some sort of error. Okay, I think we just need to type r let me try another way. rm -r new folder. Yes, this works. So whenever you have anything inside the folder, what you're going to do, you're going to type here rm, then -r, then new folder. Okay, I hope you have got the point. So now moving on to the next point. So what if you want to know the IP address of your system? There are basically two commands for that. You could write here ifconfig, or you could write here ipaddr. Okay, so these ipaddr, so these both commands are gonna work. So right here, if you write here ipaddr, you can see that it is going to give you information. This is your IP address, and basically this IP address works. So if you want to know, this is your broadcast IP address. So if you want to know that if your IP address works or not, so how are you going to do that? You can do a ping on that. So you write here ping. Basically what it does, that it sends the a packet to the IP address that you're going to give, and basically it is going to reply the packets. Okay, so it is going to reply you in packets. All right, so you send packets and you get back packets. It means that system or the network is active. Okay, so if we don't get any packets, if we don't get any response, it means that system is not active. All right, so you write here like the IP address, and you can see that it has started to ping. Okay, so it has started to send the request. So you can interrupt, you can press Ctrl+C, and it will tell you that there was a 0% packets loss. We have sent the 8 packets and we have received the 8 packets. It means that the IP address is working and it is connected to the outside world and the internet is working. All right. So the next final step, the final command that I would like to share with you, that is basically a concept, a deep concept that I'm going to share with you. It's about user privileges and user permissions. Okay, so right now, if I go back right here, so if I ls right here, I could see that there are all sorts of folders and files right here. If I do something like this, ls-l, you would be able to see there is all sorts of information which most of you will not be familiar with. So we are going to deal with this information. So this is basically the user permission. Okay, so let me just go back to the desktop, and let us create a file here as, let's say, test.txt. Okay, so there is a file that we have created. Okay, oh, unfortunately I have closed the terminal. So if I open it up again, and if I go to my desktop, and if I ls right here, you can see we have one file named as test.txt. So it would be easier for us. So if I do something like this, so we have, you know, a file which has these permissions. So right now you could see that we have the permission, the owner, the first one. Let me open the text, another text file, and I will show you what exactly we are doing and how to get along with it. Okay, so let me write here. There are basically 3 things in the computer world or the Linux. So number 1 is owner, the second one is group, and the third one is public or other user. Okay, so right here, this first sort of thing, it represents the owner. The second one after the dash represents the group, and the third one basically represents the public. So the concept right here is that you are going to assign, you can manually assign permission to all the users. Okay, so what the logic right here is that 0 is equal to the dash. Okay, so these dashes that you see here, this dash that you see is equal to 0 or none. Okay, so let me just remove it. So the 1, it basically represents the write function, or sorry, executable. It means it's executable. And then we have 2, which represents the writing function, and then we have got 4, which represents, excuse me, it represents the read function. Then we have got 4, which represents the write function. Okay, right here. Okay, so right now if I write here chmod -r, and I write here the permissions like 1 to 4, and then I write here the file name, which is essentially test.txt. So right now you can see that one stands for executable. So the owner is going to have the permission to execute only. The group is going to have the permission to read only because of these two, and the other user or the public user is going to have the permission to write only. Okay, so now it doesn't make sense to give the write permission to the public, but I'm gonna do it for your understanding. So if we hit enter, right now you can see that it has executed it successfully. So if I write here ls-l and if I hit enter, you could see that the owner has the permission to execute only because of one, the group has the permission to write only because of two, and the four, the other user has permission to read only. I'm sorry, I messed it up. So 4 means read and 2 means write. Okay, so I hope you have understood, you have got an idea. So there was that was my mistake, and I just did that example to verify if I am mistaken or not, and I was on mistake, so I admit that, and hopefully you have learned from it. Okay, so now what we are gonna do, let's say that if we want to give two consecutive permissions, like we want to give the owner to permission, let's say we want to give all three permissions to owner. So what we are gonna do, we are gonna write here, if we do that, 4 plus 1 plus 2, it equals 7, right? So we could just simply write here chmod -r, and then we could write here 7. So when we will write here 7, it would have all the permissions to read, write, and execute. Okay, so what if we want to give just two permissions? So what we're gonna do, if we want to give the permission to read and execute, then we're gonna do something like this, and we're gonna write here 5. Okay, so what if we want to give the permission to read and write? So in that case, we're gonna write here 4 plus 2, and obviously it is 6, so we will write here 6. Okay, so let's try to do that. So if we write here chmod -r, and we write here, let's say 7, then we write here 5, and then we write here let's say 6. So what it is gonna do, that let me write here first, the 7 is basically 4 plus 2 plus 1, it's equal to 7, and then we have 4 plus 1, which is equal to 5, and obviously you can do 2 plus 1, which is gonna make more combinations as well. So basically it's for execute, and it is for read, and it is for write. Okay, so it is not in the sequence, according to that, but you could understand. So 4 plus 2, 4 is for read, and obviously 2 is for write, so we could write here something like this, and obviously then we have 4 plus 1, which means that read and executable. Okay, R and X. Okay, so we're gonna get results. So 4, let me just shift it quickly, read, write, and then we have executable. Okay, so now we are gonna get results something like this: RWX, RW, and RX. So if we hit enter right here after writing the file name, if we hit enter, and if we ls-l now, okay, so now you can see that we have for 7 we have RWX, so 7 is first. So first you can see that we have RWX right here. Okay, so these are the permissions for owner. Okay, then we have 5, which is for group, and you can see that for 5 we have R and X. So you can see that we have R and X right here. Okay, so then we have 6, and we have R and W for 6, and we have R and W right here. So there is one thing, if you want to assign all the permissions to every user, if you could do something like this: test.txt, and press 7777, you hit enter, and now if you ls, you could see that all the users have all the permissions to read, write, and execute, to read, write and execute, and to read, write and execute. Okay, so I hope you have got the idea about users permission as well. So I have explained that in detail, and I have explained all the rest of the commands as well. Okay, so I hope you have learned something new. You have learned all the basics, and the terminal fever is over, and now you basically understand how to write some basic commands in Linux. That was the goal of our video. I hope you have really liked it, you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, comment down and tell us what do you want to learn more. For written articles, please visit our website linuxhint.com, and I will see you in the next video.